I'll call this regional council meeting to order, please. Mayor's statement on video recordings. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available for the public to attend virtually and is being streamed and recorded. Should virtual attendees wish to address council, either the public comment period or the question and answer period, use the raise hands feature on your webinar controls. When it is your turn and are prompted, unmute your microphone, state your name, and ask your question. Once your question is ended, you'll be muted again. Are there any additions, Mr. Barry?
No, Mayor.
I have no additions. Any council additions? No council additions. Can I get a motion then, please, to adopt the agenda? Moved by Councillor Roper, seconded by Councillor Penny. All those in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion, please, to adopt the minutes of the Special Regional Council meeting of June 1st, Special Regional Council of June 7th, Special Regional Council of June 14th, Special Regional Council of June 14th, and Regional Council of June 14th?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Roper, seconded by Councillor Souls. All those in favor? Carried. Is there any public comments, Ms. McIver? Thank you. Reports, bylaws, administration report number 41. Mrs. Pike, would you like to speak to this, please?
Yes, please. We're bringing forward a listing of uncollectible taxes for recommendation to the ministry for write-off. We have brought forward a listing 2 years ago. We now have accumulated another number of properties that have gone to the orphan fund and or have been removed from the tax roll. So we're ready to present the ministry with an additional listing for approval. The Northern Rockies portion of the taxes, as well as the penalty and interest, will be funded from the allowance for tax write-off that we currently hold.
Very well. Is there any comment from council? Very well. Hearing none, I'll make the motion that the Ministry of Municipal Affairs be requested to issue a minister's order for authorization to write off property taxes as identified on the attached list, totaling the amount of $561,097.90. The Northern Rockies Regional Municipalities portion of $330,816.85 for taxes and $123,468.86 for penalties and interest. Seconded by Councillor Penny. All those in favor? Carried. Administration report number 42, annual report. Ms. McIver.
So as council will recall, at the last council meeting, the annual report was presented in draft, and we did receive some feedback. Thank you, Councillor Gurley. She caught a few mistakes, which is always appreciated. So it's been published for the last 2 weeks, and no other public comments were received. So it's before you for final adoption.
Are there any questions? Councillor Gerwin.
I just wanted to comment on what a fabulous document it is, and congratulations to everybody that was involved in the creation of the document. And I sure hope that residents take the time to read it, and wherever you can distribute it. I think, yeah, I think it's very, very informative and a really good document to share. So thank you.
I would appreciate, or I would echo what Councillor Gerwin said, and I'm sure all council is very appreciative of staff's efforts on the annual report. So I will ask for a motion then that the 2020 Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Annual Report be adopted as final. Seconded by Councillor Gerwin. All those in favor? Carried. Administration report number 43, Industrial Revitalization Tax Exemption Bylaw. Ms. McIver.
So some of council may recall that when the program was adopted and the bylaw was put into force in 2018, it was done so as a trial, a 3-year trial project. So the intention of the Industrial Revitalization Tax Exemption Program is to basically incent industrial investment. So what it does is it provides for a phased exemption over 10 years on the improved value of a property. So, I mean, the ideal situation is when a property is purchased for next to nothing or bare land, and an improvement is made of some significant investment. So the other thing that council at the time wanted to ensure was that there was job creation along with the monetary investment in the property. So I believe the threshold was creation of minimum of 10 jobs. As a result, though, we haven't had any takers on the program. We haven't had any applications. It's definitely been communicated broadly with any investors that come to the community that are looking at site selection or tire kicking, for lack of a better word, but we haven't had any formal applications. That being said, we do know that there has been recent investments, and it could be just a matter of timing in terms of when we might see that application or those applications. So ultimately, the bylaw stales or applications are no longer accepted after August 31st. And given the fact that in the coming months, we will see fewer council meetings because of summertime, wanted to just put it before council for consideration if this is something that you would like to extend or not. Ultimately, some decisions will need to be made so that things can be prepared for coming council meetings.
Any comments, councillors? Councillor Souls.
I'm in favor of just extending that deadline for a couple of years at least. I just see that I see it as a valuable tool, even though no one has taken us up on it. It's valuable as a community to be loud and clear about the willingness to help get stuff started. I think there are other reasons why there aren't things started yet. So let's keep this program in place and just extend it.
So Councillor Souls, for how many years were you contemplating we keep this in place?
I was just contemplating a couple of more years, given that there's some indicators we'll see some transitioning, but if someone else has another argument, idea, I'm open to listening.
Any other comments? Very well. Councillor Souls, having seen no other comments, I'll ask you to make a motion to that effect then.
Make a motion that we extend the deadline on the applications for that tax relief.
For 2 years?
2 years.
Seconded by Councillor Penny. All those in favor? Carried. Administration report number 44, airport fees, parking regulations bylaw. Ms. McIver.
Thanks, Mayor. So this one similarly, council, for a totally different reason, however, COVID-19, amongst a number of other relief efforts that council made for local businesses and and industry generally for the community. The airport fees bylaw was amended last summer to basically remove enplaning fees, so passenger fees, as a way to encourage or I guess retain our commercial air service provider. So the year is up. The council passed a resolution to have that bylaw reviewed a year from the time of adoption. It was adopted August 10th, 2021. Similarly, we're coming up on fewer council meetings, so just wanted to kind of get a feel from council what you would like to do with that one so that we can have things prepared for coming meetings if you'd like to do something different.
So my view on this is that, if they're going to reduce or they're going to eliminate the COVID-19 restrictions, I think that that was the reason that we put this in place in the first place, and it should expire with the rescinding of the public health orders as well. Are there any other comments? Councillor Souls.
I agree with you, Mayor.
Very well. I'll make that motion then that we allow this to expire when the state of emergency expires or the health emergency expires.
Can I get some clarification? Because I think the state of emergency will expire before the easing of restrictions in September. I think September 7th is the final phase where everything goes away. And I think that emergency status might go away sooner than that. So my idea would be to, provide this until September 7th or whatever date, when the restrictions are actually lifted
Okay,
and they can resume normal operations. That's what I had in mind.
Counselor Penny.
I was just thinking much similar, but also thinking if we expand it out a little bit further, just to allow traffic to pick up. You know what I mean? We put this in place so we could keep our service. I mean, we all know that we're right at the doorway of losing our service, not returning at all. And the last thing I'd want to do is kind of kick the door in their face just as they got a chance to get up and going. So, I mean, for the state of emergency is going to be lifted here next month, hopefully. Like I said, more restrictions come off in September. I really don't think that there's going to be a huge loss of revenue to the municipality over the next few months if we were to extend it out, say for another 6 months until the end of the year, maybe. And then that would give time that maybe we can get that travel back up and going. I know that there's many ad campaigns going on right now. I mean, we're really pushing to try to get tourism back up and going, but that's going to take months of planning. So just to give our local provider a little bit of time to, get caught up after this all comes down and maybe then,
Counselor Roper.
Yeah, I like Councillor Penny's thinking on this. Things aren't going to go back to normal completely September 7th. It's going to take a while for our industries to get back there. So even if it was December 31st, 2021, where that deal expires, I think that would give a little bit of a cushion.
December 31st, 2021 would give us a date certain to expire this. So if that would be a motion, Counselor Roper, did this expire on December 31st, 2021?
I would make that motion if there's no other discussion.
Do I have a seconder for Counselor Roper's motion? Seconded by Counselor Penny. Any other further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Administration report number 45, preparing for BC to lift the provincial state of emergency. For information, Mr. Barry.
Thank you, Mayor. As you said, this is just for information, just for council. So currently the BC state of emergency, provincial state of emergency has been extended till July 6th. Yeah, I know, hey. July 6th, that would be just a couple of weeks away. The communication is that could actually end earlier. Obviously, the phase 3 of step 3 of the BC's restart plan is planned and as early as July 1st. And we're expecting that based on Bonnie Henry's communication today and the current case counts, they've met the various thresholds for vaccinations and case count loads, et cetera. So we're expecting step 3 to proceed as of July 1st. The information here for council, again, it's just for information. Obviously, there's the provincial state of emergency. There's a public health emergency that was declared with public health orders, which is typically linked to the Emergency Program Act. There's a number of ministerial orders that are linked to the emergency that just want, even though restrictions might get lifted, there'd be some time most likely for us to be able to deal with them based on certain guidance from the province. So for example, even though as of technically Thursday, COVID safety plans are required, communicable disease prevention plans are required. We're just receiving some guidance today from WorkSafe on what that looks like. So it's just not a matter of, as of January 2nd, everything returns to normal, because we actually have to have our things in place to deal with that and to ensure that we meet the requirements. So we'll keep council posted on that. In addition, there's a number of items in there listed here. I won't go into detail, but we'll be bringing some information back to council similar to the airport bylaw, the landing fees bylaw, sorry, that Jada spoke to. There aren't, these aren't linked to actually the provincial state of emergency. There are some resolutions that council has made throughout the process. Had the discussion today on the fees for the landing fees for the airport, just because of timelines between now and August. Sorry, if council didn't want to do something different. So for getting because of course, as part of the emergency, we were allowed to, for many bylaws, have first, second, third reading adoption in one meeting. That's now gone away. We're all hoping it would stay, but it's gone. So So just again, for council's information, I'll leave it there, and if there's any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Barry? Hearing none, we'll move on. Correspondence letter from MLA Dan Davies regarding the power outage in the Northern Rockies. Sure you've all read the letter that Dan wrote, and I think it's a good letter. Outlines exactly what our issues are with BC Hydro. Letter from Minister Bear of Citizen Services on the Northern Table of Connectivity and the meeting that I did attend, and I'll speak about that a little later. And
Mayor,
council reports, yes, go
I have
ahead.
a question on that letter,
Which one?
the one that you were just talking about.
Dan
with the
Davies or the
minister-
one from Mrs. Bear?
Mrs. Bear.
Mrs. Bear, very well.
So I had a resident contact me. There was 2 questions that were posed in the letter, and the
Yes.
resident is wondering what our answers were. So I don't know if we have any formalization of how we answered those 2 questions, and if so, could that documentation be provided? And if not, then I can let them know that.
We could. I can tell you what one of the answers was, and it was the lack of Northwest Tel's engagement with us for uptake on the federal and provincial grants to upgrade their service. We can probably find the other ones that I don't remember off the top of my head. But those should be available, and we'd be glad to make them available.
We did take notes of the meeting,
Okay,
so we can provide those.
thank you. Letter from Christy Lear regarding accessibility and accessible commercial series. Kudos to Councillor Roper for filming that. Good job.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun getting together with Christy, and she basically put it together, and I just had my camera and just kind of did her vision. But I'd just like to give a kudos to Miss Lear, who has done so much work in the municipality for people with special needs. Thank you very much.
Very well, and Ms. Lear goes out of her way to compliment the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality for their work in this as well, so that was very nice. Letter from McKenna Stidolf, I think it's pronounced, regarding her annual health scholarship. We are on the board of the Northern Medical Programs Trust, and Miss McKenna is, or Miss Stidolf is a recipient of that. So she was very grateful as well for that. And lastly, a letter from Chief Charlene Gale asking us to attend on July 7th for a blessing for the geothermal drilling that's going to be taking place. She doesn't have a time, but the date is July 7th. And the exact time and date, or location and date or time, will be forthcoming, and I hope all councillors can make it. I'll be in attendance. Council information packages from June 16th, June 23rd, received for information. There's no new business. Standing items for discussion, council reports. Are there any council reports? Councillor Gerwing?
So I attended the last NCLGA board meeting virtually, June 26th. More detailed overview of the meeting will be arriving in your inboxes next week. Just wanted to highlight a few points. I continue to sit on the healthcare subcommittee for 2021 and 22. The healthcare survey completed by member communities will be shared with the membership pretty soon. Work is already taking place on organizing the next AGM, which will take place in Fort St. John, and hopefully it will be not a virtual event. I did bring up the issue about our concerns about BC Hydro response to emergencies, and apparently I hit a button because it is a topic of concern with other communities as well. And in addition, there was a lot of talk around concern for the reliability of the power grid in rural BC. So the NCLJ will include BC Hydro as a concern as an emergent issue, and they'll keep that on their radar, and we'll see where it goes through there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council reports? Very well, I'll do mine. I had a call with Lisa Bear from Citizen Services, and Mr. Blaine sat in on that with me. It was just me and the minister and Raleigh Russell and a handful of staff. And it was talking about connectivity in the Northern Rockies and our issues around that. So it was about 20 minutes, and it was ahead of the roundtable discussions that we were going to have with other mayors in the northern region. And I outlined some of the issues we had with stating that the service was at a certain level when in fact it was not at that level, and several other issues around connectivity. Creating Energy North, I attended that, and I was on a panel with Mayor Ackerman, Mayor Fraser, Mayor Cotre, and it spoke largely about reconciliation, the need for consultation with First Nations, and the importance of natural gas in our area. Also on a call with Northern Health, just an update on COVID-19 and the numbers dropping across the region of COVID-19 and rollout of vaccinations, etc. Attended on the 18th, the NDIT Regional Advisory Committee, and it was a virtual attendance. On the 22nd, there was a mayor's caucus of mayors from around the north with Val Litwin, who's running for the leadership of the Liberal Party. And that's centered mainly on things like natural gas and healthcare in northern communities. It was rather wide ranging because it was a laundry list of things that affect all the communities in northern British Columbia. 23rd, I attended the roundtable with Lisa Bear, with other mayors from across the north, as far north as Prince Rupert and as far south as Quesnel. Once again, speaking about connectivity issues in the north and the need to future-proof our grid with fiber optics, and the need to get telcos to avail themselves of the grants that the federal and provincial government are making available. 24th, I attended the graduation ceremonies of our grade 12s, our high school. Congratulations to all the grade 12s who graduated this year. And I also brought greetings from MP Bob Zimmer and MLA Dan Davies. June 25th, NCLGA Governance Committee. I attended that, and unfortunately, I was unable to attend the one Councillor Gurman did on the 26th, as I had somewhat of an emergency with my properties. So that's it for me. Are there any questions from the public? Can I get a motion then, please, to move to reconvene the in-camera meeting? Oh, okay. Can I get a resolution to close the regional council meeting?
So moved.
All those in favor? Carried. Very well. And Ms. McIver, is there anything to rise from report? Okay. I'll call the regional council meeting to order. Is there anything to rise from report, Ms. McIver?
That staff be directed to ensure that the NRM has no involvement in the accounting for our not-for-profits that we fund through the municipality
As of September 1st.
as of September 1st.
Thank you. Can I get a motion, please, to adjourn the regional council meeting. Moved by Councillor Gerwig, seconded by? Do I have a seconder? Oh, I guess we can't adjourn if we don't have a second. Seconded by Councillor Penny. All those in favor? Carried.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Tony.
Thank you.